Donald Trump spoke at CPAC late last week, the Conservative Political Action Conference. In the speech, he said that media should not be allowed to use anonymous sources. Here's what he said.
But I am only against the fake news media or press. Fake. They have to lead that word. I'm against the people that make up stories and make up sources. They shouldn't be allowed to use sources unless they use somebody's name. Let their name be put out there. Let their name be put out.
This is incredibly dangerous. Now, my analysis that follows is only for the thinking people, okay? If you're a low information Trumpist, just skip the rest of the story. It's not going to resonate for you. It's not going to matter. We know too many Trumpists are committed to this abortion of an administration no matter what. But here is the analysis for the thinking people. Trump says no anonymous sources. They're bad, they're terrible, they're the worst. The Hillary Clinton emails came from anonymous sources. At least for a while they were anonymous, and Trump loved it, arguably won because of it. Talked about the contents of those anonymously leaked documents all the time. The entire birther lunacy about Barack Obama that Trump trumped for years was based on unknown sources. Trump saying endlessly, a lot of people don't think that the birth certificate is authentic. He himself tweeted about it, saying, for example, an extremely credible source has called my office and told me that Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fraud. Anonymous source. Another anonymous source tweet from Trump. Sources inside Attorney General Schneiderman's office are saying that they are very concerned with the allegations against their lightweight boss. I could go on all day. Let's pretend I gave you 10 more examples of Trump referencing anonymous sources. You get the point. I want to get to the key issue. This entire fake news and anonymous sources and the media is bad thing is incredibly serious because it's creating a really dangerous pretext. I was thinking about this over the weekend. It's been widely discussed how absurd it is that Trump, referring to the Russia leaks, claiming the leaks are real, but the news is fake, without explaining the difference. What is fake news and what is a leak? Leaks are illegal by law, right? This is why people like Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden get charged with crimes, the sharing of information that they're forbidden from sharing. Now, whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. The law is what matters in these cases. Chelsea Manning exposed crimes, so I believe that Manning really is a whistleblower of crimes, not a leaker. On the other hand, Edward Snowden exposed deplorable and faulty policy that was not criminal by statute, but these are, in the sort of general sense, leaks, okay? Donald Trump says the media shouldn't be allowed to use anonymous sources. This is priming, and I've used the term before. Donald Trump is priming his base to, in their low information confusion, equate journalists who use anonymous sources with leakers who are committing crimes. I can't imagine Trump came up with this, Pat. It sounds much more the likes of Steve Bannon because it's evil genius in many ways. If you blur the lines between leakers and journalists using anonymous sources, a widely accepted practice in journalism history, reporters will not want to report on something when their own name is on the line and be subjected to prosecution or persecution, and the leakers themselves will be less willing to talk to the press because the press will want to name them as sources so that they wouldn't compromise themselves if there's this anti-anonymous source mentality. What Donald Trump is doing by blurring these lines is very dangerous, particularly when you know, and I know, some of our audience knows, some of it doesn't because they don't care to know about it, that this is a deliberate attempt to blur the lines between anonymous sources that are informing journalists and the act of illegally leaking private and classified information.
I think we also need to understand what he means when he says they shouldn't be allowed to report on anonymous sources.
Yeah.
Because that could mean anything from they should have higher journalistic standards and the media outlets should have this policy where they don't allow anonymous sources.
To lawsuits.
Or it could be lawsuits, the government
jail.
cracking down on anonymous sources. And it's just one of those instances where Trump being vague does a real disservice to the American public.
And the vagueness Trump may be vague because he's clueless, but the vagueness of whoever came up with this idea, whether it's Bannon or whoever, of starting to blur the lines between anonymous journalism sources and leakers, that's part of what makes it so dangerous. Okay, so don't get confused. Trump probably is clueless about this, but either way, he's pushing a very, very dangerous narrative, a blurring of lines that we should all be very worried about.